So let's go to our next slide. Now, as you can see, figure 4.5 provides us with the industrial region, and we look at the Port Elizabeth Uitenhage. Now, there's some information over there. Port Elizabeth Uitenhage Industrial Region is the municipality in the Eastern Cape. So there is a tip. They've already told us in what province do we find Port Elizabeth Uitenhage Industrial Region. Okay, it's in the Eastern Cape. Okay, they've given us some statistics from 2016. There's roughly 1.2 million people. It's 1,157.6 square kilometers. And there's roughly 645.2 people per square kilometers. So definitely quite urbanized. Okay, many people living per square kilometer. Now, as you can see, first of all, there's Port Elizabeth Uitenhage. Okay, I just want to identify the other two. That's Cape Town, that we have over here. This is Durban. Okay, what do we know about Cape Town? This is the Western Cape. Okay, Durban, KZN. Okay, and as you can see, this demarcated area is Port Elizabeth Uitenhage. It's in the Eastern Cape. Now, another interesting fact, just want to point this out to you. What do we call all three of these places situated on the coast? Now, obviously, they're on the coastline. So we're looking at ports. We're looking at harbors. And all three of these settlements, I know we're focusing on the Port Elizabeth Uitenhage Industrial Region, but all of them are break of bulk points. Okay, what is break of bulk points again? You need to remember this. When goods comes in the one form of transport and leaves in another form. Okay, simple example. Okay, things comes in on ship, let's say electronics. It arrives at Port Elizabeth Uitenhage. It changes from the containers onto our railway, onto our trucks, and leave Port Elizabeth in another form of transport. Same as in Durban, same as in Cape Town. What do we call these places? A break of bulk point. Don't forget that, please, matrix. Okay, very important. Now, if you just quickly have a look at the case study, they've mentioned over here the Port Elizabeth Uitenhage Industrial Region covering an area of 1,957.6 square kilometers. Luckily, I don't stutter like Jacob Zuma when it comes to numbers. Anyway, it's situated on the eastern half of South Africa in the Eastern Cape. It has a major natural bay seaport, so that's quite important. It's called a natural bay. So just because of that, it gave Port Elizabeth an advantage to do trade with different countries. They did not have to go and spend a hell of a lot of money to create a port, to create a harbor. It's very deep enough, it's a natural bay, so it makes it much easier for construction, infrastructure-wise. So it's definitely a plus, okay? Now, as you can see, it's the economic powerhouse of the Eastern Cape. So that is the hub of the Eastern Cape. This is where the most money from the whole of Eastern Cape province comes from, is Port Elizabeth Uitenhage. If you look at KwaZulu-Natal, what's the economic hub of KwaZulu-Natal? Definitely Durban. If you look at the Southwestern Cape, Western Cape, Cape Town. Okay. If you look at PWV, Gauteng, we're looking at Johannesburg by far. Okay. Now this is quite interesting. If we just had given us the different sectors, economic sectors. Now when we talk about economic sectors, what do we talk about? We're talking about primary, secondary, tertiary sectors. Okay. What do each sector contribute to the economy of Port Elizabeth? And vitally, this one over here, manufacturing. What is that? secondary activities. Manufacturing is making great wells. That's where we want to be. We want to process, we want to make. Okay, I've explained it to you, I'm telling you this again. Our biggest problem in this bloody country is we've got the raw material, we sell it to China for 10 Rand, and we buy it back for 20 Rand. Okay, why don't we process that raw material? Why don't we make something out of it and sell it to them for a much higher price? It means we will add more to the GDP, we will earn more money. That's where we need to focus, and that's the beauty of this area. Manufacturing, we are making, we are processing. Okay, so it means we're going to make more money. Community services, as you can see, finance. What industry is that? Transport and trade. What is those industries? It's tertiary activities. It's the tertiary sector. What are we doing? We're giving a service. Okay, that's what we're doing. So because of the manufacturing, it adds up to tertiary activities. It means finances. It means trade with different countries. Transport, delivering a service, taking the product from point A to point B. Okay, blatantly a service has been created because of manufacturing. Vitally important. Now, the dimension over here. Now we need to find out what is the main activity that's been given. Why is manufacturing taking place? And they've mentioned over here. Oh, just drawn a line through it. Let me just try again. Okay, the automotive industry. It's going to write there. It's the car industry. Simple terms. Okay, it's one of the main contributors to the area's economic growth. The Port Elizabeth Uitenhage industrial region is home to two major automotive manufacturers, namely Volkswagen and GM General Motors. VW, we're talking about Polos, we're talking about Amarok Bakkies, we're talking about Jettas, okay. General Motors, we basically look at Ford, okay. We're looking at Mazda, same thing. GM Motors. Now, in addition, there are over 150 vehicle component manufacturers in the region, okay. So that's vitally important. Now, I want to explain this to you while we look at this map. Now, if you look at General Motors, GM Motors, if you look at Ford, Mazda, okay, it's American-owned companies most of the time. Okay, yes. Now, if you look, for instance, VW, where does it originate? It comes from Germany, okay. Now, the beauty of this, right, why do you think they decided to manufacture VW over in South Africa? What's the reason? Why didn't they do it in Germany? Why did America choose to do General Motors in South Africa? Okay, and I'm quickly going to show it to you from this map. Now, let's just go back to this map. I just want to clear it. Now, unfortunately, I can't draw the world map for you on this diagram over here. But if you look where Germany is situated, now Germany is in Europe, right? Besides, German's the best when it comes to cars. Think of it. Audi, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, VW. Okay, excellent manufacturing. Now, but if you look at Germany, it's a landlocked country. Okay, what does it mean it's landlocked? It's very similar to Lesotho. Okay, very similar to Swaziland. Okay, it's surrounded by other countries. They've got no natural harbors or ports, so they don't have this. Okay. Now, in exchange, VW said, okay, do you know what we're going to do? Let's build cars in South Africa. South Africa can never say no to it. Why not? Because we're creating employment opportunities. It's bloody fantastic. You know, not only do we provide jobs for skilled labor, also semi-skilled and unskilled people. Okay, so we're talking highly qualified jobs, a plant, a manufacturing company that built cars. Now, why do you think Germany did it? Why did they decide to do it over here? Now, simple reason. First of all, probably because of the exchange rate. It's much cheaper to build the cars in South Africa than in Germany, because Germany trade, their currency is euros. Okay, so it's much cheaper to build, manufacture the cars in rands than in euros. That's one reason. The second reason might be because we have all the resources. steel, metal, rubber. Okay, I'm going to get to that point now. But thirdly, the most important, they're quite clever. If you travel into that direction, you're going across the Atlantic Ocean, what do you have? You have the Americas. Okay, North America, South America. If you travel east, you look at Asia. Okay, we're talking India. We can even go as far as go China. And we got the Australia. Now, just imagine Germany manufacturing VW cars. They're landlocked. Just to be able for them to get their product on the ocean, I'm guessing over here, I'm not 100% sure, but they probably need to cross at least 6 to 7 to 8 borders through different countries to eventually get to the harbor. Okay, it's a bloody logistical nightmare. Okay, so it's so much easier for take their product, build in South Africa, and ship it to the Americas or ship it to Asia from South Africa. But not only this, okay, this is a bombshell, this is where it comes in. We're not only talking about physically building the cars. The beauty of this is the following. If you look at over here, 150 vehicle component manufacturers in the region. So, I want you to think of it. Let's talk about, there's VW, the actual car. Do you think Germany is going to import glass, export glass to South Africa? No. So what basically happens? Your uncle has got a glass fit, right? But now VW said, listen, we're opening a plant in Port Elizabeth. So what's your uncle going to do? Immediately, he's going to open a branch for glass fit because all cars need glasses. So we're just talking glass. Okay. Now, hang on, but cars do need tires. Am I correct? So the other uncle has got a Lombard tires, let's say Tiger Wheel and Tire. So he opens a tire factory over there because he knows he's going to have a sustainable business. Am I correct? He knows he's going to have money coming in because there's tires, the cars needs tires. We can go even a little bit further. Spray painting, paint shop. The cars needs to be painted. I can guarantee you Germany is not going to export paint. They're going to rather source it locally, okay, to provide the cars with paint. Now, the next one, think of it. Think luxuries. They also built Mercedes cars over there, okay, and even VWs. The smart VWs, like for instance the commercial, the luxury range, the seats are covered with what? With leather. Where do you get the leather? It's going to be locally produced leather. So it's from a farm in the Eastern Cape or Free State where they get their locally produced leather from the cow hides or whatever. And eventually it gets manufactured, being used in the cars. But I'm not done. We're talking about 150 vehicle components. We're not done. Now, we've got a glass factory over there. We've got a tire factory over there. We've got a paint factory providing them with cars. We've got a leather factory making leather, producing that. Now, that person who owns that has got kids, has got a family. They need to go and cut their hair. So now we can continue. What happens? We need low order goods and we need high order goods. Meaning, because there's an influx of people, factories opening, providing employment opportunities, not only unskilled, skilled, and semi-skilled. What happens with low order goods? People need to buy bread and milk. Okay, we can continue. People need to go to a barber to go and get their hair cut. Okay, high order goods, for instance, people need to go and see doctors. Okay, look what happened. Simply because of the automotive industry, what has been created? Economic opportunities in all directions. We're talking about services. Families are moving down there because their parents are opening businesses because of the automotive industry. Because they require electronics, they require light bulbs, you name it, think of it. Okay, these kids need to go to school. Yes, okay, we need to build a school, we need teachers. Do you see where I'm going with this? That's the reason why it's such an important region, this industrial region. We are manufacturing. And do you know what's the best about it? Now we're exporting as well. We're earning money from it. Okay. But let's look at the questions. We haven't even got to the questions yet. Brilliant, isn't it? Now, question 4.5.1. In which province is the Port Elizabeth Uitenhage industrial region located? Now, the answer was on your case study. It was in the Eastern Cape. We identified that already. Okay. Now, the second question, we've basically discussed all of these questions already, but just looking at our case study. Okay. State the main industry in this region. What's the main industry? Over here. The automotive industry, the car industry. Okay. We looked at it. It's VW, General Motors. Okay. Car manufacturing. That's what's taking place over there. Okay. Our next question, give 2 physical natural factors in the infographic that contribute to its growth as a manufacturing region. So, what added? Why was it so successful for this area naturally? Why was it a good area to start the industrial area? And they've mentioned it. There was a natural bay. So I want to write it down there. First of all, there was a natural bay. So for infrastructure to develop, it's much cheaper because they didn't need to spend that much money to create a port or a bay. Natural bay. Now, another reason I'm going to add over here, if you look at South Africa, unfortunately, we are a dry country. And I can draw a line roughly here. Okay, these areas receive more rain than the western parts. Okay, so when we talk about resources, even though where they are situated, there is natural resources. For instance, good drains. Okay, we need water in these industries. Okay, if that's the amount of people that's going to accumulate over time, they need water to be able to survive, to be sustainable. Okay, so that's what we added. Just want to use a different color pen or else you're not going to see it. So we've mentioned a natural bay. We said it's quite, rainfall is not bad. I'm just going to put it as stable. Okay, and another reason what we can say, we can also mention that it's quite a central location. It's right in the middle of South Africa. Okay, on the harbour. Once again, I've mentioned that to you. If you look at it, it's quite central. Now, VW are not going to build their manufacturing plant up here in Gauteng. Why not? Because then they're still, once the cars are finished, they need to go and spend money and transport the cars to the harbours. Okay, another advantage, it's a break of bulk point. So it makes it easier to do business. It makes it easier to take the final product and export it. So the location is brilliant. We can say that. It's got a central location, and we can add to it, it's got a central location, okay, comparison to our other industrial regions. Okay, and we can also mention it's a huge area. There's enough open land. Okay, so that was our question. Why was it naturally a good area for me to introduce the industrial region? So we looked at that. Now, if we look at our next question, the next question states, why is the large population an advantage to the Port Elizabeth Uitenhage region? Okay, there's a population of 1.2 million people in 2016. Now, what's the reason for it? We're talking about labor force immediately. There's enough people to be able to do the job. And I want to write down there skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled. So let's just write it down. Okay, there's a workforce, very important. Okay, there's a workforce present. And I'm just going to put there skilled and unskilled. And very importantly, there's availability of the market. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be the person that's actually going to work in a manufacturing plant producing VWs. You might go and work on a person creating these beautiful seats, the leather seats. You might be the person catering for GlassFit, Tiger Wheel and Tire, providing them with foods and drinks and whatever, service, cleaning services, okay? Installing machinery into their businesses. So the market is available. If you're into finance, you might need to move down there because there's enough business opportunity to do the finances for these businesses. If you're a plumber, because the market is available, there's many people living over there, surely but surely you're going to need a plumber, okay? If you're a hairdresser, but hang on, let me move down to Port Elizabeth, Utenac. There's a lot of opportunities. People need haircuts. There's a low order good. We need to go there, okay? It provides economic opportunities, okay? Our next question. Explain how the industry contributes to the economic growth of this region. Now, I've been going on and on and on it. Now, the most important thing, creates employment. Okay. It increases earnings. People are earning more money. Okay. When increased earnings means people spend money. That's a positive thing. Now, I've mentioned it. What do we do with these cars? Not all these cars are being sold in South Africa. No, they go to the Americas. They go to Asia. So what does exporting do? Exporting, we earn foreign income. Now, with these businesses, remember, these are massive manufacturing businesses. They get taxed. So, quite important, taxes are earned. Okay, taxes are earned, so that means it adds to the GDP. And very importantly, people can be upskilled. It learns people new skills. It develops new skills, okay? Upskill development. And increase social development. We've got one question left regarding this Port Elizabeth Utenac region, but let's just quickly go over it. And the question asks, what does Port Elizabeth Utenac lacks according to PWV? The question states exactly, what's two challenges that Port Elizabeth Utenac experience comparison to other areas like the PWV? Now, first of all, if you think of the PWV, we've mentioned it, it's by far the biggest. I'm just going to go back to my diagram. PWV, Pretoria Witwatersrand Vereniging, it's this area over there. Okay, they have many resources. And we're talking about resources such as minerals. Okay, so they don't lack it. So production can take place at a much higher level. The quantity that's going to be produced can be much higher because they have all the resources close to them. A second reason that we can mention over here, we can also say there might be water shortages. Okay, unfortunately, rain is unpredictable. We don't always get it. Other reason, electricity might be more expensive. because it's far from resources such as coal, for example. And lastly, there might be a skills shortage. Now keep in mind, your skilled people usually go to PWV because of they're earning more money, there's more opportunities that we find in these places.